Hi, I'm Nancy Reynolds, Stampin' with Nutsy. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Bellingham, Washington. I can be found on Facebook at Stampin' with Nutsy or on my blog, stampinwithnutsy.blogspot.com. And I have to tell you that I am sitting here looking out my window. Up here in the Pacific Northwest, we have a lot of rain, but right now, this week, we are having the most beautiful weather. It's in the 70s, the sun is shining, our cherry trees are flowering. It's just absolutely beautiful. I understand rain is coming again, but this has been just a pleasure. And so if you see a little brightness on my desk, it could be because there's natural sunshine coming in my window. Anyway, I wanted to share, first of all, I wanted to welcome you to our suite of the month. It's the Dandy Garden Suite that we're featuring. Aren't those pretty cards? It comes with 2 bundles, Garden Wishes and Dragonfly Garden, and this beautiful paper, which I just love, the Dragonfly Garden paper. And we'll be using bits and pieces from all of that. These are 2 cards I've made. We're using this format or layout. I have this one with the dandelion stamped, colored, and cut using the die. And this one with the die cut that's in the set of these little flowers. And I really, really like those. So we're going to make one quite similar to this. So let's put this one aside. Put my inspiration card up here so I don't forget anything. On that card, I used the shimmer paper or shimmer white paper, which is very pretty to cut out all of my little flowers. And I think this is kind of pretty. I think I'm going to keep this piece and use it as a stencil and maybe do some sponging a little bit later. Then we are using, with the other card, I used the basic white for my cutouts and for coloring. But I thought that today I would try it, since I had my shimmer paper out, I would show you that technique that I showed you in my last video with the blending brushes. I'm going to use Balmy Blue ink, and I'm going to use Misty Moonlight. And I'm going to start with my darker color, and I'm going to swirl it as I did the Calypso Coral, making sure that there are places of variation in color. I need a little bit more here. I think this is not quite as dark as that Calypso Coral was, but I definitely want to have the Balmy Blue showing. So we've got a little darker there. Okay, and I'm going to get a new brush because we're going to a lighter color. If I'd started with a lighter color, I would have continued with the same brush. And we'll just Balmy Blue and see if we can't get a nice mottled effect. Now, I don't know if you can see, but I can see the sparkle through that. It is really hard to have sparkle show through on the camera. But I've got a nice little sparkle there. I'm going to close up my inks because open inks can be dangerous. I'm going to set these over to the side. And I'm going to set this aside for a minute. We're going to stamp on it and cut it out with a punch. And we're going to also do the sentiment and the little dragonfly and the sentiment. But I'm going to save that for just a few minutes because I want to show you the cardstock we're using. I am using Mossy Meadow, and this is a full sheet of cardstock, scored at 4 1/4, cut in half, so that I have 2 card bases from every sheet of paper. Then I folded it and burnished it with my bone folder, a handy little tool to have. I have 2 pieces of black, basic black. These are cut at 4 1/8 5 3/8. So I've got two, one for the inside, one for the outside. I have one whisper white for the inside. Nope, not whisper white, basic white. It is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And see how that'll line up right there? I have some DSP from the Dandy Garden set. And I'm going to glue that onto the bottom here. So that's where we're going there. I took a piece of the DSP, that same piece, which I don't know, I just love these colors. The Old Olive, Mossy Meadow, and Misty Moonlight. I think it's really pretty. And I am going to put these and glue them onto my black so that it looks about like this. And then I'm going to arrange my little flowers on the front. Now, as you notice, this card has the yellow in the middle and the darker colors along the sides. I changed that up. I thought this white would look really good against the darker colors. So that's what we're going to do. We're also going to take that DSP and we're going to glue it on the back of an envelope this way so that they're right side up. So it sounds like we have a lot of gluing and taping to do. And we do. So let's get started with that. And then I used the linen threads for my bow. I wrapped it around 3 or 4 times and then tied a multi-loop bow. But I was thinking, since I absolutely love the metallic mesh ribbon, that I might see what it looks like with this on it and then decide which ribbon I'm going to use. So first we glue. I've got my Tombow right here, a multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm going to start with an end piece. I just have a really hard time putting glue on that pretty paper. Oh, keep it upside down, it's ready to go. And I have this cute little holder, which makes it very, very nice. So I'm going to line this up, rub it down. Then I'm going to do the other side. And then center my 1 3/4 inch piece. Did I tell you that I started with a 6 by 6 piece of paper? I cut it down to 5 1/4 inches in length, and then I cut 3 sections out. 2 of them are 1 inch, and the third one is 1 1/2 inch. So there we are. Come on. Little glue. There we are. And then you can just kind of line that up in the middle. Alrighty. Let's see, how do we want to put these on? There is a right and a wrong side to these. See, this is kind of rough cut. You can see the cuts. It's a little indented, whereas this has a more rounded look. So, yep, flip over, go ahead. Put these on. There, how about we pull a couple of them down? Because I do have to have room for my dragonflies. I just love this set, and I love this paper. And it should still be available in your books to order because it lasts through into June. The January to June mini catalog. So, here we are. I think I like the texture. Having these a little bit loose. Do make sure it doesn't hang out over though. You don't have a lot of wiggle room on the sides for anything to hang over. Whoops, now that was too much glue. And here we go. See the depth that gives? Just that little bit. And this one will go right in the middle, a little taller. And there we are. The one thing then you're going to need to do, these are my ribbon snips. You'll see they have ribbon on them. You notice it's the metallic mesh. I told you, I love that ribbon. It's become my favorite. I'm going to cut these off at the edges in line with my card base. And a lot of times it's actually better to turn it over and make that little cut. You can actually get a better feel for where it needs to be made. I believe I'm going to take a glue dot and poke it under. Sorry for reaching across there. I had that on the wrong side. Under these little stems. Just lift them up, put it here, and put them down. Because the ribbon is going to go over it, so even if it's a little sticky, it's okay. Get these out of the way. And now I need to decide on the ribbon. So with most ribbons, I don't tie bows on camera because I am not the best little bow tyer in the world. And that's going to happen again today. Okay, I'm going to make a decision and go with this and hope we like it. I'm putting seal along the sides. I'm going to tack the edge of my ribbon into it. Oh, a little high. Then I'm going to run it around my card to the other side and tack it down. Conserves ribbon this way. I'm going to bring out my silicone mat, which will keep this from sticking to the paper. Let's see. Make sure you are well tacked down on each side, because what I'm going to do is cut myself a generous piece. Oh, I was very generous. I'm going to run it underneath the ribbon. Then I'm going to tie a knot. I don't know why ribbons and bows look better when you tie them upside down, but they do. So, an upside down bow. Pull this end over and this end. Give it a pull. There is, I just love this ribbon. I like the way it makes bows. I like the fact that the bows are not so thick that it's going to add too much for the postage usually. I took some cards in the other day and I used this ribbon. And although it was a little thick and cost me a little bit more, I needed to use the hand cancel postage. It wasn't as bad as it could have been. Okay, ribbon scissors. We're going to do a quick angle cut on each of them, each ribbon. There we are. I am then going to take dimensionals and put a generous amount on the back of my card. Let's see. I hope that one of the things that you do, and I haven't needed to on this card because I started anew. Look, not very many gone. But you always want to use the edges of your dimensionals. This is really good stuff, especially if you have something that's long and thinner. It's perfect. And then you take off all of your little backings. And you really can tell when the backing's on or off because it's shinier when it's off. It's got a little sheen to it. So you shouldn't have to touch it with your finger. Okay. Then you just take, let me get that out of my way. Lay it down and you can adjust it to fit. Usually, oh, it's hard when you're sitting. Let me stand up and see if I can get over it. There we are. So here's basically the front of our card. We still have a little bit more to do. Let me go ahead and do the inside and we'll get that put in. Basically, I'm not stamping anything on it. I'm just going to glue this on the bottom, leaving just a little bit of white. Glue is really nice because it gives you some adjustment room, a little time. Okay, there it is. Take your snips on the back side and trim off that little edge. I'm using my seal for the back because sometimes you can tell with the white cardstock, you can see that you've glued it because there's little glue spots that kind of show through. So this goes on the black. Got a little ribbon on it. And because it's cut a little bit smaller, usually if you line up these three sides, the bottom takes care of itself. It comes out quite well. This one is going to get glued though, because I like having wiggle room. Put this down. There we are. The inside is done. The front is under construction. So we'll set this over here while I work on the envelope. And I am going to use my seal on the envelope because you can really tell that there are glue squiggles. You can get right up to the edge with your silicone mat. And I think that's important because I really don't want the post office angry with me for messing up their machinery. And I don't want them killing my card either. So here we are. Take that up a little bit. So I want this well adhered. Here we go. Whoop, 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 whoop. I touched down before I should have. Okay, now there's the advantage of glue. Is if you don't touch, you've got wiggle room. This does not have wiggle room. Okay, let's try it again. Align the top up with the fold line. Okay, close enough. Almost close enough. If you get a little bit of glue outside of that area, it wipes right off. Take your snips, follow the envelope around hold your snips still and turn the paper. That usually gives you a little better cut. And turn your corner, and you are done. And now you have a pretty envelope to send with your lovely card. You could also put a strip of this along the bottom if you wanted. That would be up to you, so it'd be pretty on the front also. Now that takes us back to our stamping. There's not a lot of stamping on this card. And I'm going to use, I believe I used Memento. Hold on for 1 second while I grab it. I liked the look of the black ink. So we're going to stamp. We're going to have a blue dragonfly. Get him all inked up. And let's see, I'm going to put him down here, and I like this corner better. Decide where you want him. The punch is really great, but it's directional. So you're going to want him going with your head away from you. Then I'm also going to stamp my saying, "You are an inspiration." And I think I like this spot here. Put my ink away, or at least my lid on. Grab my punch. Line it up. Punch it out. And you notice you get a bonus dragonfly. You get the little one. Then I took the Label Me Fancy punch, and this one, it goes in sideways, and you can center your sentiment, put it wherever you want. There, I think I like that. And there you've got your, you are getting close, we are getting close to being done. Even though this has sparkle on it, I decided it needed more sparkle. So I grabbed my Wink of Stella and I painted it. I painted the wings. Because after all, dragonflies should be full of sparkle. There he is. Isn't he cute? I'm going to sparkle his body, but we're actually going to cover that up. And then I'm going to do sparkle on the little dragonfly. I did not clean off my brush before I moved over to the second project after doing that. So he's got a little black, but we can cover that. We know how to fix things like that because we are crafters, and we know that we can bling it up a little bit. For this one, I think I'm going to take, I didn't on the other one, I'm going to take the Misty Moonlight. I think I'm going to grab my darker dye, my brush, and I am just going to highlight the edges a little darker because I want it to stand out a little more than my other one did. So there we are. Just a little bit of highlight. Doesn't take a lot. Okay. I think we've got the rest of our pieces together. Let me grab the card. Glad I didn't lose that. That's for my seal. There we are. Put these aside to clean. I'm going to, one of the other things you can do with your bone folder is you need a little texture on this. So I'm going to give it a little curl on the wings. I know it's going to flatten in the envelope, and that's okay. My hope is it will pop back. And I think I'm going to use a glue dot to hold it on because I want most of it loose. Maybe I'll use 2. And let's see, let's put another one down here. So there's 2. And he is going right here. His wings are not hanging over. Here's my little one. I think I'm going to use a glue dot, but I think I'm going to roll it just to make sure it's thin enough. And I'm going to put him right here. Put him like that. Pull the glue dot off. And there he is. Both are well attached. They're happy. And now for a little sentiment. I am going to put dimensionals on this one. And then we're going to use the opals. Yes, the opal rounds on our butterflies to make them fancy. It helps if you put the words right side up. So here we are. You are an inspiration. And we're going to make them inspirational by putting, I'm going to use the larger opal for the head, no, for the body, because that's a little wide spot. And then the smaller ones, I'm just going to put down his entire body. But isn't he cute? Oh, that one is not coming out right. Let's see if I can fix it this way. I hope you enjoyed the card and that you make one. And let's see, one more. And then one thing I like about the opals, you really can't see it on the dragonfly. Maybe because his body is black, but they've got little pink flecks in them. I just thought that was kind of cute. Let's cover up that black spot that jumped onto our little dragonfly. We'll just put a big opal right there. Cover up most of it. There. Raise his legs, or his wings. And there's our card. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm set the envelope aside. I'm sure it's here somewhere safe. Here it is. So there is our card for the Suite of the Month. And I want to thank you for joining me and wish you happy crafting. Stay well and stay safe. Bye-bye.